So here we have it, the man of the hour. He played in the NFL for 13 years, and his journey started way back in Detroit, Michigan, where he was an All-American at Mackenzie High School. And then after that, he signed with the Ohio State University, and he was a 2-year MVP, defensive player MVP. He was also a captain for 2 years, and he was an All-American. And then in 1986, the month of April, he got one of the best phone calls in his life. It was the New York Giants who said, "Pepper, we are drafting you." And guess what? He got even more spoiled. One of the best defensive teams. And on top of that, he won his first Super Bowl as a rookie. Please welcome two-time Super Bowl champion winner as a player, and additionally, three-time Super Bowl champion winner as a coach. That's a total of 5 years, and I know Dan Marino is hating right now because he wants at least one. Please welcome, altogether, 5-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowl, Pepper Johnson in the house, baby. How are you?
Yeah, you make me sound real good. I love that intro.
You know, Pepper, I listened to one of the other intros, and you told the guy, "Yeah, that was a great intro, but you didn't say I was a high school All-American."
Yeah.
Right? So I said to myself, I'm not missing that shit. I'm putting that in.
Exactly. There we go.
So, Pepper, at this age right here, right? I want to know, this good-looking bastard right here, this little hunk, future hunk, all right? Now, was that the age when you were having pepper in your cornflakes? Was that the age that when you started that? There it is.
No, you know what? Matter of fact, it was younger than that. I was 3. I was 5 years old in that picture.
So you were 3 years old when you said, "You know what? Let me try the pepper."
Yes. It was by mistake, but
Right, of course, I know.
yeah, I was considered a bad kid, so I had cornflakes. I always ate cornflakes. I love cereal. Still, it's a problem with me now. I try to stay away from it, but I love cereal. I eat cereal in the morning. So I was, cornflakes was number one on my list, especially back then. Pretty much cornflakes and Cheerios was the only thing you was getting. But cornflakes, and I knew they put something on my cereal that made it sweeter. And I noticed. I guess I paid attention to what they was grabbing. And so now I had my aunt, and I guess I felt like I could take advantage of her. She made me a bowl of cereal, and she was walking away. So while she was walking away, the little slick Johnson kid thought he could reach over there and grab the sugar shaker without her noticing. But I grabbed the pepper shaker instead, and she saw it. And so I sprinkled pepper over my cereal, and she called herself, teaching me a lesson. Now, she already put a little sugar on there, but I always wanted to add my own little extra. So it'd be sugar at the bottom of the bowl when I finish. So I ate this cereal, and I asked her for more. And every time I tell this story, I always say, because it's my Aunt Irene, that it's one thing she gave me the nickname Pepper. But when I asked my mother, okay, so what did y'all call me before you started calling me Pepper? And she don't know. My mother was like, I don't know. And, because my sister, my other siblings, they add on, "Oh, we called you Big Head, and Big Head, go sit down somewhere," and all kinds of stuff like that. But I'm like, hey, no one knows because my real first name is Thomas, and no one ever called me Thomas. Now, my sister calls me Thomas now because of my high school awards. All my high school awards read Tom Johnson, and no one put pepper on it. And then Ohio State followed up on it And that the All-American tree, what you was talking about, we put, Buckeyes. We're
Hmm.
special over there. So they got in Buckeye Grove, they plant a tree for every All-American. And on my plaque, it says Thomas Johnson.
Now, you know what? But I see this one right here. You see this picture right here.
Yeah,
It's the Mackenzie High School NFL guys, and they actually have Pepper Johnson right there.
yeah, because I argued it.
Okay. So you were
And
fighting.
I'm
You were
quite
like
sure,
you were like the district attorney. You're fighting for this,
yeah,
right?
and I'm quite sure Bettis probably had something to do with that.
Well, he's on
Bettis
top right
probably,
there,
he
Jerome
helped me
Bettis.
out, yeah.
So now your high school, is it traditionally known like great football players come out of that high school?
Well, that's the list. We hit like an era there where we spitting out one a year, and then of course Bettis year they actually had four guys. They actually put out four guys, and I'm bad because I remember him, of course Gilbert Brown and Sylvester Wright, and the other running back. I'm forgetting his
Well,
name right now. I'm
you
quite sure
have
it's up there on that board.
Reggie Thornton. Then you
Uh,
have Sylvester Wright. I see that. Jerome Bettis, Gilbert, Kevin Brooks,
no,
Richard.
okay, so it's missing one.
Oh, it is okay.
We are missing. Yeah, it's the tail. Jerome was the fullback,
Mm,
and he had a tailback that actually um, led the team in rushing yards, but Bettis had the best rushing average.
okay.
I went back. I went back and caught one of the high school games, and hearing about him, and Big Gil. And when I saw the game, it was like, it run left, run right, 3 yards, 4 yards, first down, da da da. And then all of a sudden, they just give Bettis the ball and 60-yard touchdown, 40-yard touchdown,
He was
55
that.
yard touchdown.
He was that special, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, he had it then also. So he would break and then start slapping people in their helmet while running for the touchdown. It was
Pepper,
the
let me
other
ask
guy
you
was doing
this.
all the hard work.
Yeah, yeah. So in high school, you also played baseball and basketball, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you think
Baseball,
which?
baseball was my number one sport.
Oh man, it's just like what's his name? Greg Lloyd. He said to me
Yeah,
I was a better baseball player than football. I was like, what?
yeah.
So were you better as a baseball? Is that what you're
I
saying?
I like to think so, but uh, there is a problem. There was a big problem coming from Detroit, where people can recruit Florida, all these schools out west, and down south where they play baseball all year round. We didn't. It didn't really pay to come to a high school game, and the high school competition wasn't as good as the summer leagues. Like summer league, the teams were stacking the deck, and the summer league team that I played for, um, we were we was an all world team, and we went around and we kicked everybody butt. We actually played against some of the smaller colleges in the Detroit, Ohio area. Gave those guys spankings also.
Did you beat
Yeah,
you beat them
we had a
too?
we had a monster of a team.
You beat them too?
Yes, yeah, we
Holy
went around
shit.
beating. And the thing about it all, I was an ace pitcher um, from when I started pitching. I think I didn't start pitching until I was like 12 years old. When I started playing when I was 10. Um, on that summer league team, which I only did it for 2 years, but that summer league team, I was like the third pitcher.
Wow.
I was like the third pitcher, and
Did
one of our you know what, I can't really remember. Yeah, I think he was the ace, but both these guys was neck and neck. He actually made it to the Mets, and he got brought up from the farm club on the Mets run, in '86, and he was supposed to get sent back down right before the playoffs, and he made the the team, and he stayed on the freaking team. And I guess they forgot that he was on the roster, and ended up getting him a ring also.
Wow,
Yeah,
look at
so
that.
our baseball team we were pretty good.
Did you have any offers with other sports to go to play D1, like basketball and baseball?
Basketball, it wasn't going to happen
Okay.
because I was a guard height. You know, I'm 6'3". I was a guard height, but I played the big forward um, my entire career. So I was a post guy. I posted up and I checked the post guys. Now, of course, Detroit is known for a lot of basketball players. And my senior year, another senior that was at the rivalry school over there was Roy Tarpley. Remember Roy Tarpley played with the Dallas Mavericks?
No.
That kid, matter of fact, I have a picture of him if I look around and find my yearbook. I have a picture of him in our yearbook, and our head coach wouldn't let me check him. We had a junior. He was younger than me, a junior. Yeah. He was 1 year up under me, and he was covering. Now he was taller. He was 6'5", but still, Tarpley was like 6'9" or whatever at the given time. And but he was a youngster. My experience of checking taller people, I had more experience with. But my coach wouldn't let me check him. So now I had the ugly job of they had a shooting guard, Anthony Watson. I want to say he went to Missouri, but I got to keep jumping out, and he's shooting jumpers in my face. But if he missed one, then Roy Tarpley would just get it and just drop it in the bucket. It was it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare of a game. But you know what? For you, Ed, only for you would I go public and tell this. That game is still not over. That game, the clock is it 2 or 3? I think it's 2 seconds still on the clock. The game never finished.
Wait, so there was technical problems?
No, it was Pepper Johnson problems.
Oh, okay.
Like the coach took me out of the game with the 2 seconds on the clock. Now I'm sorry, Anthony Watson went to another school. This other guard, I can't remember his name. He went to Missouri, and he got his hands on his. Guys had their hands on their shorts and they
Mhm.
bent over. And when the coach buzzed me out, and I'm going off the court, and I'm like, why are you taking me out now? With 2 seconds in the game, da 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 da. My man he made some little remark. I don't even remember what the remark was, but it just pissed me off, and I walked over there to him and slapped him in the head.
Oh, okay. And then what happened afterwards?
But it was a melee. It was a melee.
Oh, shit.
It was a melee, and the officials felt that it was better to just cancel the rest of the game, and not let the 2 seconds, come back out on the court. And a lot of people, matter of fact, it even got all the way to Bettis. Bettis probably about 10 years after me or whatever. That our high school, the two high schools, Mackenzie and Cooley, that since then, none of the kids from the other school were allowed to attend the away games. So when we played at Cooley,
Mm-hmm.
nobody from Mackenzie could come to the game. And when Cooley played, they did it for years because of this guy.
Pepper,
No,
that's not nice, Pepper.
not
Not
nice at
nice.
all.
But I'm
I
sure
tell you,
I'm
that
sure
is
you
not.
learned from your mistakes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I should have slapped him when he got into the locker room.
Well, maybe the referees were like on the side. Thank God for Pepper, he did that. That coach must be annoying, right?
Yeah, Oh, I'm telling you, it was because I'm sorry, I was the big guy, even though, like I said, I wasn't. I think I became a better basketball player after high school.
Mm.
I led the team in scoring. I led the team in rebounds, steals, everything. Right, but my scoring, it's not like they was trying to get me the ball. Everybody else was shooting. I get a rebound and put it back up.
Right.
Or my teammates called me the Black Kevin McHale because I guess Kevin McHale had a name of, they gave the ball to him. He
Yeah,
was
but
the
he's got
Black
long
Hole.
arms, man.
Yeah, but no, it was they called me the Black Kevin McHale because I wouldn't pass the ball. Once they gave me the ball, it wasn't going back out. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
so are you saying you were the chucker?
Oh yeah, I'm
Oh yeah.
shooting the ball.
What you got the ball? You're driving or you're shooting?
Yeah,
Right? You didn't
sorry.
care.
Hey, I had a yeah.
Well,
I'm
you
telling you.
want to achieve a basket. I get it.
Let me get you give you my philosophy and why. My our assistant basketball coach, Bill Belichick, right?
Mhm.
And he was on the 76ers at once upon a time. He was he was one of those guys that never took off his sweatsuit.
Okay.
but he coached basketball and he coached the big men. And in his mind and what he told us is that you're never guarded. If they get this move, then go to this move. If they got this move and that move, then come back to this move. He always had an escape for it. So it didn't matter if the dude was 6'8" or 6'10". It didn't matter to me. I had something for him that Coach Ayler was teaching us that supposedly got me out of trouble, and I could shoot this ball. And when we pressed, I was the guy that was in at midcourt
Mhm.
that got all the steals because now that's my linebacker play, so I could read who they was getting ready to anticipate who they was going to throw the ball to. Boom.
So you
So
had numerous interceptions in basketball.
numerous interceptions in basketball.
Okay.
Right, and so my 14 points a game was off of steals, rebounds, offensive rebounds, and if they dared to give me the ball down in the post and didn't take that jumper, I'm sorry. And we was,
So
and back then we were one of those teams that you passed it around until someone had a good shot, until they made a mistake and no shot clock and all that stuff like that.
So Pepper,
So
I'm thinking as the opposing coaches, when they look at the scouting, okay, Pepper Johnson, 14 points, 10 rebounds, no assists. He's a chucker. All right, we get it. Right.
no, it's crazy. I actually had like 3 or 4 assists. The only people I would get a ball to was the other big man.
Okay. But 95% you're shooting
Oh
that
yeah,
ball, right?
oh
Oh,
yeah.
you're going up.
Sorry. That's the reason why they kicked me off the basketball team. They kicked me off. They kicked me off the basketball team, and the football coach tried to blackmail me. So yeah, I
Wait, did
really
he
was a
try to
bad guy to them.
did he try to do Tony Soprano on you? Did he give you a threat? Say, "Hey, it's football and it's only football."
Yeah, no, he told me it replaced football with Michigan State. It was like you going to Michigan State or you ain't leaving this building. We're gonna kick you out of school. They were trying to kick me out of school. Oh man,
Pepper, I can't see you as a troublemaker. I see you this lovely kid, loves sports, and you want to play. I don't
yeah,
see you as a
and
troublemaker.
I got penalized for it. I got penalized. Oh, Ed, okay. I'm gonna really give you a lot of dirt. You messing around with the high school years, all right? I
All
won't
right.
say too much in the
You know what? You could
giant
spill
years,
you
but
could spill everything to me. You know why? Because you tell great stories. Go ahead,
yeah.
spill it out.
Hey, so the high school coach, the reason why he they kicked me off the basketball team because I'm 2-time captain and everything.
Hmm.
Um, football, basketball, and baseball, right? 3-year letterman in all three sports. Okay, he wanted me to go to Michigan State because he was going to get a $10,000 car. So
That's
it
the
was
reason
still
why.
a used car, uh, um, but a $10,000 car. That's what he wanted me to sell my soul for. And I was like, I'm not going to Michigan State. Not that it was bad, because if I would have went to a Michigan school, Michigan State, I would have chose Michigan State over Michigan, um, because it felt more like home. But at the
Mhm.
same token, no one asked me. None of those guys asked me that I really wanted to get away, because I felt like too much of Detroit was going to follow me to Ann Arbor or to Lansing. So let me get out of here, and hopefully, my mother can make it to a few games. And Ohio State was perfect for me because it was far enough away where the Detroit issues or no one would follow, but it was close enough that my mother could jump in the car. Somebody would jump in the car and drive her to Columbus, Ohio. So
Yeah.
that was the good part about it all.
So pretty much you were just an hour and 20 minutes away from University of Michigan, right? That's where you live,
Oh
like an
yeah,
hour
yeah,
and
yeah,
20.
yeah. It's
So
that
you were really close, right?
exactly. Yep. Yeah, both
And
both places is.
so but I'm sure there was a lot of schools offering you, right? They would come to your home, the coaches. Like, how many schools came to you as D1 big top schools?
Okay, now I'm telling you, yeah, you're digging in the right spot right now, because I got a bunch of these stories that I like telling.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
um, so going back to this high school coach, he told me he felt like he didn't want me to get the big head. So my entire senior year, I thought the only teams that was looking at me was University of Toledo, Western Michigan, and maybe Bowling Green, because he held all my letters back until after the season. He calls me into his office, and he got this big box, and this is this guy, and so he dumps it all out on the floor. Matter of fact, I'm doing it like this, like he picked it up. No, it was on the floor, and because he couldn't pick it up, it was so big, and he dumped it all out on the floor. And I'm like, what is this? He said, these are your letters, and I didn't want you to get a big head and out of control for the season. I'm like, what made you think that? So I scooped my letters back into my freaking box. Walked out the door, went downstairs into our locker room, and started filling through them and finding out. USC, Florida, Georgia, Ohio State, Arizona State, everybody
Holy
was recruiting
shit.
me. And now this is the key to it. All right, so I see a letter from Notre Dame.
Ooh.
And I'm like, Notre Dame? Now, okay, call me whatever you want to call me. This dumb guy from Detroit. But you let me tell it at the given time. Notre Dame, only people that went to Notre Dame was Catholic. So I said, well, maybe they don't know, I'm a Baptist man. So let me, I'll address them later, right? Or they'll get it. Sooner or later they dig me up, do enough research, they're gonna find out I'm not Catholic. I want to say maybe a week later, after he gave me all my letters, I get a letter, and now his assistants, the office assistants, the coach's
Hmm.
assistants, they're my classmates and my girls and stuff. They knew about the letters and was told not to say anything when they didn't think they should say anything anyway. But so they end up giving me this next Notre Dame letter. And when I get this other letter, Notre Dame is telling me that they're no longer recruiting me. So now, yeah, exactly. And so, but they don't say why. They just say they're no longer recruiting me. So now, the pissed off of Pepper Johnson, now you didn't piss me off. So I'm like, I'm going to a school, whatever school I go to, I want them to have Notre Dame on the schedule because I want to play against these guys, and I'm gonna punch them in the face on who's going to stop recruiting me. Now, the USC they had a good reason for it. Like the guys out west, um, I guess with the previous dudes from Detroit, the higher ranking they got or awards that they got, they just took visits out to USC, to UCLA, Washington, Stanford, whatever, just to be taking the trips. What they never meant, they weren't going to go there. It's just too far. So USC, after you win all city or whatever, they kind of turned away. When I got all Metro and all state and all American, all that stuff. So they turned away. But they said why. Notre Dame never did say why. So they got on my hit list. They was number one on my hit list. I wanted to play them so bad, but I forgot to check Ohio State schedule. I didn't check Ohio State schedule, and they didn't have Notre Dame on the schedule. Never did play against them. So I just took it out on everybody from Notre Dame when I played them in the league when I got to the Giants.
Wait, so Pepper, that's an awesome story. But Pepper, hold on a minute. So when the coach, let's just say if you did get all the letters, what school would you go to? Let's say if you did get all the letters. He played it like a good coach. Hey, Pepper, look, here's all the letters. Read them, make a decision. Which school you think you would say, you know what? I'm going to this school.
Oh, I still would have went to Ohio State.
Really?
I would have went to Ohio State for the reasons that that I said earlier. That I didn't originally. You asked me this question. The start of my senior year, it would have been the University of Florida. But the University of Florida got, that was the first because I heard so much about Florida athletes and Florida football players and all that stuff. So I wanted to go to Florida just to show, be around the best. They're supposed to be the best, and let me go find out what the best really is, right? So, but University of Florida got put on suspension that year in '82. That they couldn't go to playoffs. So got rid of that. That pushed them away. USC, that fight song, dun, 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 that was a killer. But I'm like, Pep, you can't go to a college just for a fight song. But USC eliminated themselves. Would stop. They stopped recruiting me. So, and I wasn't getting ready to start begging. So I was like, hey man, I watched the Big Ten. I'm familiar with the Big Ten. Ohio State is my school. I love the University of Michigan and Michigan State players. Carl Banks was my host when I went to Michigan State for a visit. Like I did. I went to Michigan and Michigan State for visits out of respect. And my coach, that's my coach was telling me, and blah, 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 blah. I felt like I didn't really need to do it because I've been to the schools, I know what it's about, and really didn't think I was going to go, and especially at University of Michigan, and rumors were, I played tight end also. So the rumors were that they wanted me to play tight end at University of Michigan. So I'm like, man, I'm not going to a freaking school that, don't throw the ball, or when they do throw the ball, they throwing the ball to Anthony Carter. Hey man, I don't want to do that. But even though my high school, I caught 36 passes my senior year, which was, I guess it was good enough because Mike Ditka is in the Hall of Fame because averaging 36 catches for his career. But anyway, I'd rather do the hitting than for people to hit me. So I said, well, in Bill McCartney, he was the defensive coordinator. He was the main guy. He was on me from the University of Michigan. He was on me about coming to Michigan. And when I asked him, I looked him in the face and asked him about the whole tight end rumor. And there's one guy that was on that list that you showed of Stags that's in the league. Two other All-Americans before me played linebacker. Both went to the University of Michigan and both got their position changed. But they put both of those guys down on the defensive line, right? So I asked Coach McCartney. I said, "Hey, man, I'm hearing these rumors about me, being a tight end. You guys gonna switch me tight end? Pepper, no way. I'm gonna let you go. And this, that, and other, right?" Uh, During the recruitment, he gets the head coaching job at Colorado. I get a phone call. How he got my number, I don't know. A mother's number, because it's no cell phones then. He's calling at the house.
Right.
Pep, uh, when you asked me about the tight end thing, yeah, I couldn't say it then, but yeah, they want you to play tight end. Now, if you come on out here to Colorado, well, we're going to let you play linebacker. Man, you're going to be the big man on campus, and they don't have anyone like you over here. Hey, man, that's not me. I'm not trying to collect all the freaking glory and all that stuff like that. I want to win. So,
I thought you went to Ohio State University because they got the best band.
yes. Well, see, and that was so bad. I didn't know about the band until I got to Ohio State.
Okay.
Halftime, as a kid at halftime, you would go outside to play football. We'll get in a couple of, see who can score a touchdown or whatever, real quick, and then come back in and catch the third quarter.
So
But
now,
no,
I learned. My boy Jeremy Kitson. I played college baseball with him down in Florida,
yes.
Palm Beach Atlantic University, right? But he's from Ohio, and he's a huge Ohio State fan, right? And I called him. I was like, "Yo, Jeremy, guess who I'm interviewing?" He goes, "Who?" I said, "Pepper Johnson." My man went right to the stat book. All-American this and that. I'm like, "Damn, you know of him like that?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, hell yeah." So he told me about the Skull Session, what you guys do, the traditional stuff at Ohio State. The Skull Session, what is it? You enter the old basketball arena, and you guys hang out, and then you enter the stadium. Is that how it works?
The Skull Session?
That's what he said. I guess, I don't know if you guys did that back in the days, but they have this new tradition. It's called the Skull Session. And
yeah, I don't know. I can't.
All right. So I guess he gave me wrong news. But
it must be more recent.
Yeah. The shoe I learned at Ohio State. Why do you call it the shoe?
Oh yeah. The stadium used to be made like a freaking horseshoe, and then with the gray and all that stuff, when you look at it from above, it was a whole shoe. They just closed in the shoe now, put more seats in, so that's why it looks closed. But for us that remember the shoe, we know where the open end was, and the open end was the back end, like closer to the field house and all that stuff like that. So
okay, so now Ohio State, you guys traditionally is like one of the best schools ever. I mean, you got 10 NFL Hall of Famers from Ohio State.
yeah,
okay, sorry, the Ohio State. So I know the Buckeyes get offended if I don't put the THE, the, right? And did you guys ever go to the national game? Like back then, you had a Rose Bowl, right? Is that how it worked?
Yeah, exactly. Now, okay, see now we really should have was coached by Woody Hayes. Like we missed Woody Hayes. His last class was seniors when I got there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just missed Woody, but Woody was around. Woody actually sat next to me for 2 years when I was a captain at our captain's dinner, right? Oh, that's the night before the game. So the tradition of the school that um, we didn't play for, and we didn't practice, and we didn't talk about what we could not control. So a national championship in Woody's mind wasn't. And I'm sorry, I still he brainwashed me. I totally believe in it that it shouldn't be on a vote. and it's hard because of college football or whatever, but it shouldn't be on a vote. So he said we need to control what we can control, and the Big Ten championship is the only thing that you can control. You have the best record in the Big Ten. You beat all the teams in the Big Ten. Um, you win the Big Ten championship. Now everything else after that is a reward. Even the Rose Bowl itself, playing against the Pac-10, he was like, well, that's uh, in a sense, it's like a Super Bowl, but the difference from the Super Bowl, that's all the teams. You're just playing the best team from the Big Ten, go play against the best team from the Pac-10. So, however you want to look at that is gravy, but our main focus was winning the Big Ten championship. Because also, if you think about it, the Rose Bowl, it's still today, it gives out the most money. It's the biggest freaking bowl, and all the other bowls was kind of jealous because of that. But they always hosted the Sugar Bowl and Orange Bowl and all the Cotton Bowl, whatever. They always hosted the national championship game. But meanwhile, the biggest bowl game and the game that was played last January 1st was, well, at the college peak hour was the Rose Bowl. And
So,
enough said.
Pep, but here's the thing. When you signed with Ohio State, did you look at and say, well, when's the last time they won a national championship? And when you signed with them, the last championship they won was 1968.
Yes.
They had a national title drought from 1968 to 2002. But when you said to yourself, okay, I'm going to go to Ohio State, but damn, the last time they won it was 1968. What was there any questions like that in your mind thinking about that last
No,
national title? No?
no, because Woody's explanation was dealt to you on your visit.
Okay.
So that whole national championship, and like quietly, I didn't have a reason for it, but I just didn't like the whole fact of voting.
Right.
I didn't like that just watching college football. And I didn't watch as much college football as I did pro football.
Mm-hmm.
So I to win a national championship, it wasn't big on my to-do list.
Oh, okay.
Go to college was like um, a stepping stone for me trying to get into the NFL. But no, everybody that knew me from a kid will vouch for it. I never once said, "Hey, one day I wish I would play in the NFL." Nope, because once again, then I'm lying on your show. My first sport was baseball, so I wanted to play baseball. I started playing organized football. It was the last organized sport I played was in high school. I played basketball in middle school. As I told you, baseball I started when I was 10 years old, but everything was played out in the streets. We did everything out in the streets. And today I feel blessed because there was a point of time when we used to joke about it when we was in the league that you can tell the guys that didn't play street football. Those guys that didn't play street football tackle with their head. You couldn't, if you played street football, you wasn't going to tackle with your head. You knew how to tackle with your head up because street football, you're going to injure yourself.
Right.
Somebody's knee might hit you in your head if you going down there or tackling low. And we didn't do a lot of reaching and grabbing. Some of the things, what you see with these guys in the league now, you was happy to get your shoulders on somebody. You can get your shoulders to somebody, Castle Christmas for him, you got a big hit. But that was, that was us. That's how we played the game. And that's how, we learned the game. So, the college football just was, it was kind of a stepping stone, I guess. It's just a bridge I needed to cross to get to the ultimate goal.
All right. So, out of the 4 years at the Ohio State University, how many times did you earn your gold pants?
Only two. Yeah.
Come on, Pepper. I expected four, man. All right.
No. You know what? When
Go
every
ahead.
time when someone comes and bully me on that, oh man, you batted 500. Okay, Pep, you're a 50-50 guy. All the jokes. Then comes the sun. Everybody forgot about the sun. So
So
yes,
the
my son
son,
Deontay,
the
he comes in.
only third pair father son captain ever at the Ohio State University. Right?
Exactly. And
So
he walks away with four pair of
he's
pants.
got four?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that was bad recruitment from Michigan those 4 years.
Yeah.
At least
He
take
got a
one,
picture.
right?
They got a picture of him. It was a picture of him in the freaking paper or something in the magazine after the Michigan game with a rose in his mouth.
Okay.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Hey man, I'm
I
like
don't.
that's what we're talking about right there because hey, I learned and I grew up on you judge a man and all my female friends, they get mad at me when I say it this way, but you judge a man by the success of his kids. And not, hey, it's one thing you accomplish things and you can be successful, you can drive around in a fancy car and got a nice house and all that stuff. But if your kids are buck wild and they running crazy, what did you do? That's part of the
Right.
manhood, the fathering of it all,
Exactly.
right? So uh, my
You know
son
what, Pepper?
goes
You
and he
know,
comes to Ohio State and he graduates and he gets four pair of pants. I brag on it.
well, listen, the combination of six. What about the other two sets? Did they get how many? I wonder how many pants they earned of the other
Who was that?
father son. Besides
Oh
father
yeah,
son
I don't know.
combination, you got six. I wonder the other two father and son, how many gold pants they earned.
Yeah, hey, I might have to look that one up and
Yeah,
see if we got
man,
the
damn it. I didn't do my research. I can't believe this shit. All right,
most.
so listen, Pep, when you're at Ohio State, right? Think about this. I mean, you're young. Will girls hold over you guys? I mean, you guys are like, you're running the campus, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I was bad. I
Okay,
was
give me your
bad. I was
bad stuff,
bad,
what you did.
and I wasn't. I wasn't.
You couldn't settle with one girl. Okay, then what?
No, no. See, I'm telling you, I was like the opposite. I felt like all of that was a distraction. All of
Okay.
that was trying to take um
But hold on,
the
Pepper.
goal and the dream
But
away.
hold on, Pepper. Isn't it hard? You got the most beautiful girls. You got power, man. They come up to you. Oh, Pepper Johnson, right? How do you dismiss it? But like, no, I gotta focus. I'm sure not that many people had brains like you that focused, did they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But I tucked tail and ran on a couple of situations. But hey, I was for the majority of my um, life up there at Ohio State. I was a single guy, so I did what single men did.
Well, of course, I
But
don't blame you, but you should. You're a high school athlete, one of the best schools in the nation.
exactly. So I wasn't totally.
Don't tell me you were a saint. None of us are
Yeah.
saints
No,
when
no,
you're a
yeah.
college athlete. Don't give me
I
that
can't say that.
bullshit, all right?
I can't say that. Yeah, there,
All
there
right.
was a few times went to the local bar. It was the main street outside of campus was, and I'm not kidding. You can look this one up. Its name is High Street.
High Street?
High Street. You go up on High Street, and there was a bar called the Mine Shaft. I know some guys listening to this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Pep bringing up some old times." But anyway, um, you go down the Mine Shaft. Yes, did I get some girl buy me a beer and take me home or back to her dorm? Yes, I can't say no to that. It probably stopped at Subway before we went to her door. But I really I tried my best to try to stay away from all of that and people that kicking and scratching. I wouldn't tell them who I was. And hey, some people knew, some people was over there whispering and found out who I was or whatever. But I tried to stay away from it as much as possible. Now, here we go. I got another one for you.
Go ahead.
Now we moved on to college.
Okay.
There was, and I'm mad. I'm mad about this one though. I'm mad about this one.
Go ahead.
There was a parking garage right down the street from the dorms that I did not find out about until after I moved off campus. That guys told me in the spring, go up there on the top deck and see what's going on. Oh man, some fancy car. What is that? They got a car wash going on. Pep, shut up. Go up there on the top deck. I go up there on the top deck. As soon as I get up at the door, I open up the freaking door, and it's like, can I curse on?
Hell
on this?
yeah,
Well,
you
you've
can.
been cursing. It was a ass, freaking Amazon or whatever. I don't know. Oasis. Yeah, that's what I guess I should say. An ass Oasis, because it was like a bunch of girls up there tanning. Yeah, everybody was tanning, and I must have went up there on your back time because everybody was on their back. They don't want the tan line, so they unclip the tops, and they sitting up on the freaking everybody tanning. And some people on tiles, some people on little
So pretty much, Pepper,
seats,
you
whatever.
you could evaluate who's got the nicest backyard, right? While they're tanning. All right.
Yeah, that was an understatement. And then the clown. I don't know about his life, so I don't want to put him out there. But he actually was like, "Come on, Pep, let's walk around." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not doing this perverted." He was like, "No," and I kept taking little steps, and I was saying no, but I kept walking with him. The next thing you know, I'm walking, I'm bobbing in and out. And yes, the garage. And then they told me it hasn't been too long since they stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tradition. That's an Ohio State tradition. They go up there and no one parks their car on the top deck.
Okay, so that has to be like, is that during the season, like September, the hot weather?
No,
When they
no.
tan?
Well, yeah, they do it. They did it from the spring. I'd be like after spring break. Boom! Everybody
Oh,
that
okay.
was the tanning spot, and it was a known rule: don't park your car up there. And so no one would park their car up there, and the girls would just all lay out, bring their little
Oh
chairs up.
my God, I'm a little confused. Are we in South Beach or we're in the state of Ohio?
In Ohio, and
On a
it's
rooftop.
something about
On a parking lot
when
roof.
women are flipped over. Everybody looks good.
Well, Pepper, I'm sure these girls, they love your face and your teddy bear charm and all that. Oh, Pepper, right? It's normal.
Yeah.
What the hell? I've been there before. I know what it's like.
I'm telling you, I didn't. Hey, you didn't get too many people, especially now we're going to move on to the freaking Giants when I came to New York.
All right, so here's the thing.
No
Hold
one
on.
called me. No one called me Pepper. I didn't. When I went out, I was either Bernard or I had some freaking name opposite of Pepper. Richard. I was a Rich couple of times. I didn't want to be Richard too many times because
Okay.
I didn't know. I don't understand the nickname for Richard, so I didn't want people to start calling me that.
So, Pep, in
Yeah.
April 86 draft, okay, here it is, man. You were the 51st pick, second round. My question is, what teams did you really feel like you're going to get drafted by? Or was it just strictly the Giants? The organization was like, hey, Pepper, we're drafting you.
No, you know what? I didn't know. I'm telling you, I was totally oblivious with all that stuff. The whole like we going back to picking universities. I didn't know, and now the draft and everything. I was just hoping to get draft, period. And
Hmm.
uh, and where I was going to go, it really didn't matter. I'm like somebody is getting ready to get this dude that's very very hungry, but but if you ask me where I wanted to go, number one was the New York Giants.
Really?
Number two was the Oakland Raiders. So exactly, exactly.
Oakland
It's like
Raiders?
I got this. I had this freaking problem with California, that I wanted to go to play football out in California, but I don't know. But I liked the grimy.
Hmm.
I told Matt Millen, that I loved him. I actually watched him a few times at Penn State, but him and how he played and how he dressed in the Raiders, that grimy look, I like that. But when I started watching the Giants, or when I would watch the Giants, that their linebacker core was just um, it was phenomenal to me. The
Phenomenal
Van
to you.
Bell.
It's phenomenal to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. So then as it moved on, and now you had I didn't mention it, but like Carl Banks was a not only just a mentor when I came into the league, but I knew Carl before. When I went up to Michigan State, from visiting and all that
Because
stuff.
he's from Michigan too.
Yeah, yeah, he's from Flint. So and so Carl was helping me before I even got to the Giants. Then now I knew he when he became part of that linebacker legacy over there that was growing thicker and thicker. I was like, man, I really need to get over there. You got Lawrence Taylor on one side, Carl Banks on the other side, and then you got my man and Harry Carson. Like people think I'm exaggerating it, but when I talk about my linebackers, and when I talk about inside linebackers that I idolize, it goes Willie Lanier, Harry Carson, and that was it. That I tried to pattern myself off of. Like I said, I like Matt Miller, I like the look and all that stuff, but he was behind Harry.
Yeah, Harry's a Hall of Famer, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So I so my dream came true with that. With being drafted by the Giants. That 86. Now my daughter hates to hear me say this, but 86 was such a phenomenal year for me. I consider it the best year of my life
Well, you had your kid
because
there too, right? You had your
yeah,
firstborn.
my son is born in '86. I get drafted by the Giants, the team that I wanted to go to. My last game at Ohio State, I'm defensive player of the game. Got a big trophy that they broke when we talk about that on another show that they broke in my mother's house. But and then I signed my contract that they want to pay me to play football on my birthday because I
Your birthday's July 29th. Am I right?
July 29th. So these guys was already in camp. I know you did your homework.
Oh
You
yeah, I
couldn't do it
did.
Christmas.
But you know
Yeah,
what? But here's the thing. Where were you when you got the call? Like, now I don't remember back in the 80s, but during the NFL draft, would the players, the first rounders would show up in the city and hang out in the draft?
yeah. Some guys were still invited that way, but here's another story. But um, the NFL draft was different then because they had the commercials and the commercials was out of control where they control the commercials. If they want to have a commercial now, they do what they have to do. Um, they so my college roommate Keith Byers, who that's my brother. Just put it that way. He was
To this day, you
roommate
still talk.
brother from the second day that we were together.
Your brother from
So
another mother. That's how you got to say it.
brother from another mother.
All right, go
So
ahead.
Keith just got drafted in the first round to the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Hmm.
Okay, now they they go into the second round, and I want to say Philadelphia was had the first pick in the second round, and right before they go on commercial break, Philadelphia Eagles pick Johnson, and we like what? And so now I'm thinking Keith and I are back teammates again. You know that
Hmm.
I'm going to Philadelphia. I would have been happy to go to Philadelphia because being with Keith, my partner, but uh, I still wish I would have could go to the go to the Giants. So now we're sitting up there, we're waiting. And I'm sorry, you asked me where was I? I was at. This is my father. That my mother and father separated when I was 5, but he's alumnus of Ohio State. He scouted me, and this guy took me in, right? Ron Grenadier, and we were at his house watching the draft, and they go on commercial break. And he was like, "Oh man, that would be that would be great if you and Keith could go back together." And I was like, "I don't know what they said. I just heard Johnson." And he was like, it was you. I know it was you. I got a feeling. Da 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 da. All of a
Oh,
sudden they
wait
come
a
back.
minute. Wait a minute. They said Johnson, and then went to commercial break, but they didn't say the first name. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, or if they did say it, no one heard it. My mother, my
Oh,
sisters,
okay.
no one caught the first name because it was they just went by it so fast.
Did
Like how they
Well,
do
did you have
Later
anxiety at
Round.
that time? Did you have anxiety at that time? You're like, what? Which Johnson? Which Johnson?
Yeah, no, you know what? Um, yes and no, because
Okay.
I want to say I was excited being Keith, like I said, being Keith teammate again, but
Hmm.
at the same token, a little disappointed because I wanted to go to the Giants, and I was kind of mad about him going to Philadelphia because Keith and I at Ohio State we never hit each other. And it used to drive our head coach, Earl Bruce, it used to drive him crazy because he would have full live practices and I would run up to Keith and Keith would have the ball and he was a bruising running back and we both would just stop. And like
Oh,
that. And that crushed Earl till he got us both. He made us the captains of the Scarlet and Gray game. So we had to play against each other and he had to run me over, and I had to tackle him or whatever. He never ran me over. Let's get that straight.
well,
But
let's get that shit straight.
yeah, exactly. But we had to play each other, and we did just like what you would think two brothers would do. That we came to each other and was like, hey, let's get this man what he wants.
Hmm.
You play your heart out. I play my heart out because the chances of us. Matter of fact, this was Keith saying the chances of us um, going into the NFL and being on the same team is slim to none. And again, I had no ideal where I would be drafted. Keith was more popular than me. So you let me tell it. Keith should have won the Heisman our junior year. But yeah, he is again. You remember Doug Flutie won it our junior year. Keith was the first runner up to him. And Doug Flutie, when they talk about Doug Flutie, they talk about his 4 years. They never really talk about that year, his senior year, because his junior year and I want to say his sophomore year was better than his senior year. But Doug Flutie threw that pass against the University of Miami, and it's like 4 first rounders around that ball. But me personally, I don't understand it because um, I gave more credit to Phelan. I want to say his name, Jimmy Phelan, the receiver then does Flutie. Oh, Flutie did it. Flutie did it. That's going to forever
Right.
ring in my head. And they played that game like 2 weeks after Keith ran for a couple of touchdowns against the University of Michigan, which Michigan wasn't. I think that was probably their fourth touchdown, the third and fourth touchdown scored running against them the whole season, some mess like that. So, and we won that game. But hey, if
So
was a
when
fifth, we all would be high.
so then you get drafted. Now you get to camp. You're looking at the defensive guys. You're like, holy shit, LT, Harry Carson, Carl Banks. I mean, you got
Leonard
studs, man.
Marshall,
Jim Burt. You got
Jim Burt,
studs.
George Martin.
And I think you guys were honestly a little better than the 85 Bears. That's my opinion. I honestly think that. I mean, your defense was literally no joke. But you're spoiled, Pep. I mean, your first year, and all of a sudden, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, but you also won the Super Bowl that year. The New York Mets won the World Series that year. So New York you guys were a hot item, my man.
Yeah.
You were a hot item. But before we get to that Super Bowl, the first one that you were involved in, being the champion that you are, who took you under your wing, Pep? When you got to camp, who taught you, hey, this is what you got to do to stay? Now you got to work harder. You got to stay in this league. You got to do extra reps. You got to watch film the right way. Don't just watch it and whatever. Watch the film. Who taught you how to watch the film, how to play this game, how to come out like a professional and say, Pep, if you want a career in the NFL, which the average is 2.5 years, the average 2.5 to 3.5 years, this is what you got to do. Who was that guy that told you that?
Carl Banks.
Carl Banks. He took you.
Carl Banks.
Okay.
Carl Banks. And then Harry picked at me. And so I took Harry poking me all as a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then George Martin actually grabbed me and sat me down, and he gave me a speech about knowing the difference from being a professional and a pro athlete. And he said, a pro athlete, anybody can be a pro athlete. And there's a lot of guys that's out here that's doing that. But being a professional, you're thinking about your work day and your family every day, everything you do. And you don't want to do anything to jeopardize that for your family and for your teammates and all that. So, and yourself and your name. So, how do you want that to look? Now, being a little bit of a hard head at the time, I tried to share with George, but he said, "Hey, Pep, you don't need to explain to me. You don't need to explain to me." But what I did, here, I'm telling you, Ed, you're good right now. You're getting a lot of the juicy
Let me
stories.
tell you something. I get the best, all right? Go ahead. Open up to
Yeah.
me.
So I told George, I said, okay, a lot of people know I go and I hang out because New York was my hangout. If you want to find Pepper Johnson, you had to go to New York and find Pepper Johnson. You wouldn't have found me in many places hanging out in New Jersey because I thought, and especially after that first year, that it was trouble more trouble in New Jersey than it was over in New York City. And what I mean by that was like when you're talking about guys, a lot of girls attracted to us. Football players and all that stuff like that. So there was more dudes in Jersey knew of us and knew who we were. And so you had a couple of spots where a lot of guys, where some of the guys would hang out at. So if they saw you there, or you was going to get bumped, or you was going to, if you're talking to a female, you was going to get some guy trying to step in between and this, that, and
A random guy, a regular guy trying to cause trouble.
Random guy, exactly. And you was going to get someone challenging you, and really, in our books and the way that we looked at it, That dude just wanted to get punched in the face and then want to sue you.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
Before I put myself in that situation, I'd rather go to New York where no one gave a care. You know, you got. I'm sitting in a booth where Eddie Murphy is over there in that booth. You know, and when Mike Tyson comes along, and Mike Tyson is over that booth.
Was this at the China Club?
Excuse me.
Was this at the China Club?
How do you know my spot?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, listen, I had Darryl Strawberry, Doc Gooden. I had
Yes.
Leonard
Exactly.
Marshall.
Hey,
That was the spot, my man.
but none of those guys can tell you that they went to the China Club before it was the China Club.
Right.
But this guy here.
So because of you guys blew up the China Club. That was like because of the New York Giants.
Hold on. You're going a little bit too far.
All right. My bad. Go ahead.
As far as the Giants, it's just this guy right here. And when I first time I entered the China Club, Anthony Michael Hall was in it, and Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was on one side. He had about 2 or 3 people with him, and a couple of girls salivating trying to get there. And then Anthony Michael Hall was over here, and at the given time, Anthony Michael Hall just did that quarterback movie, whatever that was, and Nicolas Cage. I remember him. He just did Raising Arizona, right? So they both was. Anthony Michael had a few movies, but it still was young and whatever.
Right.
And Nicholas was, he was just at it. He was on the edge. That's what put him over the top.
Moonstruck, baby, moonstruck.
Nobody else. The rest of the place was empty. Like you could see, I could dance on the floor and didn't have to worry about bumping into anybody. Didn't have to. The bartender would come from around the bar and bring our drinks or whatever up to our little seating area where we were at. Eventually, they put a plaque up there, right? They put a plaque up there, and this was supposed to be the designated seat for Pepper Johnson and hold on. They worded it Lawrence Taylor and Pepper Johnson. I'm like, how in the world did this guy get his name on my seat? Now LTK, he came.
He's accepted.
He came with me though.
Right.
But, yeah.
Wait, but hold on. But at the China Club, right? So I just could imagine. I'm visualizing living your lifestyle, right? Back then, you, LT, a couple of players come in. I know people know who the hell you guys are right away. I mean, they're like, oh shit, the New York Giants, right? They know who you are, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But in New York, no one cared.
No, they didn't care. But when they saw you, they're like, oh shit, okay. How are you? And that's about it.
Why is Pepper telling me his name is Bernard?
All right. So listen. So now here's the thing. So now you're in the, Carl Banks took you under his wing, right? Yep. You learned the game. The first time you met Bill Belichick, what did he tell you as a defensive coordinator or whatever he was, a linebackers coach, whatever he was back then? What did he tell you, Pep? What did he say exactly? He says, hey, to play for me, this is what you got to do. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I didn't get to finish what I ended up telling George, my reply to George.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Because I went off on this China Club. You sparked one up under me with the China Club. What I ended up telling George is, and he told me I didn't have to give him an excuse and all that stuff. What I ended up telling George is, see, everybody think I go out and I hang out and I drink till the wee hours and come in at 4 a.m. and all that stuff like that. Because we had it bad. Now you hung out over there, we would, but at the same token, we was a close knit. I would have a change of clothes in my car, and I would drive when I drove back to the city. I mean, when I drove back from the city, I would go straight to the Giants, go to Giant Stadium, get my clothes out the back, change my clothes out in the parking lot, and then go to sleep for about an hour or two. And then somebody would come and bang on my window. I didn't have to set an alarm. There was no cell phones or anything like that. But I was sitting in the parking lot and knowing that one of my teammates was going to wake me up and I would make it to the meeting in time.
Wait, so hold on. Let me rephrase this. So it's an all-nighter. It's late.
Yep.
Shit, I don't have time
5
to
in the
go
morning.
home. I don't have time to go home. I got to be at the facility at what time?
It probably was 8 o'clock. It probably was 8 o'clock.
Okay.
It probably was 9 o'clock. It didn't matter. And I kind of nipped that one in the bud too. I stayed in East Rutherford. I was only like 8 minutes away. I was only 8 minutes away. But forget taking that chance of being 8 minutes away. Hey, the majority of the time, I can't say like I did this all the time.
No, I know. There's nights. I've been there before. I know what it's like. Trust me.
Exactly. So I would come say that. So George, going back to the whole George situation, that George is getting these stories. And what I tried to explain to him, what I wanted to tell him, I'm quite sure he didn't, it went in one ear and out the other, that I stopped drinking at 12. Maybe 12:30. Definitely nothing going on after 1. And I could count on this hand how if I ever had a drink close to 1 or after 1.
But wait a minute,
So,
Pepper. Usually people go out at midnight in the city. So what time did you go
I
out?
went out
10?
at midnight.
Did you go out at midnight?
I went out at midnight.
So that means you
That's
stopped
when we
drinking
was
right
leaving the
there?
house. Say it again?
Can you hear me, Pep? I'm just making sure.
Yeah, no, I could. I'm just talking the same time you talking.
Oh, sorry. No, because I thought I had technical problems. That's why. No, I'm saying usually people go out in the city back then, in your early 20s, you go out around midnight. So you're saying you stopped drinking at midnight once you got there?
Yeah, or would go there and not have a drink.
Oh, okay.
See, and what I was trying to tell George, hey, whether I was over in the city or I stayed in my condo in East Rutherford, I'm still going to stay up to 2 o'clock. That was just me. That was just me. I'm the later. I was a night owl. Call me a vampire, whatever. But I'm going to watch some movie for like the 5th time, or I'm going to watch some TV series that's on late, and I'm still. I didn't seen it 14 times or whatever. I'm gonna watch it again, but I'm gonna still be up. I'm sorry. That was just me. So why not go over here to New York and
Hang out.
and or whatever, because hey, that's what I wanted. That's what I knew I was going to get. But I wasn't technically. I was a fake because I didn't burn the candle at both ends. You didn't have me partying and drinking and all that stuff to the wee hours and going out. I went out. Now this is another good one. Let me add on.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Thursday night, I would go out Thursday night when Parcells would have weigh-in on Friday. And so I would go out Thursday night. I would come home after practice, eat dinner, right? I knew that whatever I ate was going to put me overweight. So I would go out and dance all night. Party on the floor, raise the roof, doing all that just to lose the weight. I would drink water, take a couple of sips, but I wouldn't leave the dance floor. So it's like I was doing, in my mind, I was doing aerobics. Go into practice, next day, get on the scale, I'm 2 pounds under. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story. I love it. You know what's crazy too? Like if I was you, I'll go up to a girl like, listen, I need you for the next 3 hours. Just dance
Oh,
with
I
me
did.
because I got weigh-in tomorrow. What do you mean weigh-in? Don't worry about it. You got weigh-in. Just keep dancing with me.
You know what? I just didn't give them that much information. Remember, I'm
Right.
Bernard.
Yeah,
I wouldn't tell them who I
exactly.
was.
Right.
So when I would ask a girl to dance, I would tell her, "Hey, don't come out here if you're not ready to dance for like 3 to 5 records." What? Hey, are you ready to dance 3 to 5 records? You got one song, you one and done? Then I pass on this. And some of our friends still today,
Yeah, but
they tell
Pepper.
me, "Well, you remember the first time I met you? First of all, you told me your name was Raymond or something like that." And then you better dance 5 dances or 6 dances or whatever. I'm like, hey.
No, Pep. Has this ever happened? Right? You say you dance with the girl, right? And
Yep.
then all of a sudden you see her again. Maybe months later or weeks later. It's like, you're the guy on TV, aren't you? That Giants football player. Wait a minute. Did that ever happen?
Well, uh, no one actually, because I think when they found out who I was, then they would just, oh,
Right.
I know who you were and why you was, and then I explained it to them. But I have had impersonators that it was my first year with the Giants.
Mhm.
This is the only ugly in '86. I had a guy saying he was me. He went into a dealership and drove off with a car, and they called the Giants looking for me, talking about Pepper Johnson took the car.
Oh no.
Dude, I don't. Hey, I got a car. I don't need another car. Whatever.
Right.
But yeah, they said somebody rode away with a car. I had a guy um, that, and I think this was the same dude. So I got two parts to this story, and I really I got to run. I got to pick up my daughter, but
Hold on. What do you mean you got to pick up your daughter? I got a little more left.
yeah, I'm late right now, and I'm 15
Okay.
minutes
Okay.
away.
Okay.
She I've actually, after we won the Super Bowl, Terry Kennard is having a party. I go to the party, which I told you I didn't like hanging out in Jersey much,
Mhm.
right? And there, at the door, the girl is like, "Who are you?" Say my name should be on the list, Pepper Johnson, and she don't even look at the list. She just put it down and she looks up at me again and like, who did you say you were? I said, Pepper Johnson. Pepper Johnson is already in here. And now she's talking to herself. God, I hate when these guys kind of come up here and trying to be somebody else, and this, that, and other. I'm like, oh man, and she kind of dogging me out. Move out of line and let somebody else come up in here. You're not getting in like that, right? And I was like, um, is there anybody else I can see, any manager or whatever? And fortunate for me, bad for her, that this security guy comes in. Big bro. Um, you would think he would know football, and he knew who I was. As a matter of fact, he was a security guard at another club that I did go to a few times. They would have comedy shows up in there. Now, I did the comedy shows in Jersey. All right. So he was like, "Who is he?" She was like, "Right there." And so I stepped back. He comes from around the booth. It was like, "Pep," and I was like, pointing at the girl, and she was like, he's Pepper Johnson," and she was like, my man was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Pepper Johnson just walked in," and he was like, "Girl, this is Pep. Come on, who with you?" And da da da. My brother was with me, a couple of other guys, and I was like, these guys are with me. Sorry about that. Da da da. So he's letting me in. So I turn around. Now, TK, I forgot to tell you this part about the party. It was our ring ceremony party. So we just got our rings. So before I walked in, I held up a finger and I was like, next time, make sure they got one of these before you let them in. You know, da 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 da. Now, right when you think that is bad, uh, let's move on. So that was in the spring. Move on to about 2 games. A little bit before we went on strike in '87. That we no, matter of fact, we just getting out of training camp. Anyway, we I go out to the other club, that we was talking about. Go there, and some girl is talking to me, and I'm telling her I'm somebody else. But meanwhile, her girlfriend is downstairs talking to Pepper Johnson. Now, when her girlfriend comes upstairs, blah this and da da da, um, I still wouldn't tell her who I was, you know, and then said she was going to go home. And then the the girlfriend said, well, let me see if I can catch back up to Pepper. And I was like, Pepper? Hold on, you met a Pepper? You got a girlfriend named Pepper or something like that? And she was like, no, Pepper Johnson is downstairs. And I'm like, yeah.
You're playing along.
You sure it's Pepper Johnson? And then she's smacking her lips and all, you know, she got a bunch of attitude and all this stuff. And who does this with you? And this, that, and other. So she leaves. She just walks off. So I tap her girl on the shoulder before she leaves. And I said, I'm going to apologize first because I told you a fake name because I always just do that on GP. But the reason why I question your friend about who she met is because I'm Pepper Johnson. And I don't know who she's talking to. Oh, now the girl gets mad at me because supposedly her friend has been talking to me for a couple of weeks. And so I said, well, did she ever go to a game or have she ever watched a game on TV? Because I'm like, it's kind of a different beast now. My first year, I didn't play until mid-season and it started picking up more and more. But now I'm starting. They show this mugshot on the tube. And she goes, that's so messed up that you want to try to be someone else. I'm like, girlfriend, trust me. I'm me, and somebody is running a scam on your girl. And again, we go up by a bar, and the people know who I am, and go up there, and the security comes in, and everybody is vouching for me. Shortening a longer story, the girl ended up, asking the guy because that's why I told the friend to ask the girl to, can get tickets to a game. And this guy knew me a little bit. He knew I was from Detroit. He knew my mother and my sisters come in to games and stuff like that. So I'm thinking somebody he knows someone kind of close. He told her that that his family comes into all the games. It's going to be hard to get tickets and this, that, and other. And so she did the next best thing, and she watched the game on TV and saw this mugshot right before the strike, and didn't see my man. And so,
hold on, I know you got to go, but I need this. When you became a coach for the Patriots, you reunited with Belichick. When they drafted Tom Brady, you became the coach 2000, right? When he was he a nobody back then, 2000?
Yes and no.
Okay, but here's my question.
Okay.
How was his work ethic as far as watching tape, like really being specific? Like what did you notice? You know how some guys, the players maybe report 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. to watch film? What time did he show up?
Well, Brady, I'm gonna kick all that in the butt. I'm gonna kick all that in the butt. let's go to training camp.
Okay.
So I wasn't there during the draft. I come after the draft
When
and
did he
right
get
before.
drafted? Was it 98 or 99?
I think he was 99, and I get there in
99.
2000.
Right. Okay. So he's not established yet. He's a seventh rounder, whatever, right? You come
Exactly.
in. What did you notice? Did you see him working hard as a backup quarterback?
Yes. When we would come in after training camp,
Hmm.
and after the second, you still had two-a-days back then, legitimate two-a-days. So after the second practice, when all the coaches would get together and we would watch film, and Belichick was resilient with this. We all of us watch. We watch all the offensive plays. We watch all the defensive plays. Right? Okay. Every time when we would get together to start watching the film, some tapes would be missing. And Belichick was still on the VHS. He was still on the VHS because he was like, hey man, if something come up missing or the thing don't, it's not working or whatever, all reliable, the VHS tapes. So he made sure everything was taped on the disc and on VHS, right? Okay, we would get up in there, and everybody, waiting. Belichick pretty much was the last guy to come in. By the time he come in, let's start the tape. Where's the tape? Brady got the tape. Go find out what room Brady is in. So he would move around to different rooms so that he could watch the tape longer. So he would go. So if you're not following, he would come in after practice, after the meetings, because we would watch it after the meeting, after we would meet with the players and
Hmm.
send them back for curfew, and then that's when we would watch the meeting, watch the film. So Brady would come in after the meetings and then watch the show team practices. So he would watch all the defensive clips and just so that he can see how he was performing, throwing off the cards. And that's when he got the most reps because Drew Bledsoe was getting the most reps on
Right.
offense, and he just saw them. So he sit up there and he threw every pass up to us. And you got to go and find Brady because he would have the tapes, and whichever coach, especially if it was a defensive coach, you can hear him talking while they're coming down the hall before they get to the meeting room because he's asking questions. He's still asking questions. What did so and so see on this and da 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 da? What made him jump this route or whatever? Da da da. He had that mindset. Um, you knew it was there, and we knew it was there. We didn't know how good, but we knew that dude was a competitor. We knew he wanted to get better, and he wasn't going to be, sitting behind Drew for long.
So
And
even in practices, he would take the snap seriously, right? He'd be like, "Hey, here's my chance. I got to practice like
exactly,
I'm playing, right?"
yeah. And one of my best Tom Brady stories is not just giving him the business because I used to run the show team, but giving him business on that. But when now he's the starter, we out in New Orleans, we're practicing for Super Bowl, and uh, we run a play, and our cornerback, he runs in, and Brady throws the ball. The dude jumps up in the air, and now the dude probably could jump over a couple of cars. He jumps so freaking high, and he knocked the ball down, right? And Brady is mad. Brady is mad. So Charlie calls, the offense coordinator, Charlie Weiss calls and say, run the play again. We run the play again, and uh, um, same thing. Tom turns over there to try to throw the ball. Man, pause. Brady pumps, and then he throws it. He waits. He jumps, times it up, knocks the ball down again. Brady gets so mad that he tries to kick the ball. And when he goes to kick the ball, he falls. And everybody is laughing. Everybody is laughing. But that's when you really knew we were a team. That's when you really knew if we could laugh and find humor at our starting quarterback, our young quarterback, that everybody is doubtful and how did we get here and all that stuff like that. But we loosened him up. We loosened him up, and we was like, hey man, next time that guy comes up in there and you pump and he don't jump, and then you go to throw it, you pump again and he still don't, you might want to just heave it on out of bounds, or just throw it out on the ground or some mess like that, and don't take a chance on getting the ball batted.
Right.
And when you see Tom Brady today, you don't see him doing that. He would throw the ball in the ground as soon as they have it read, or a lot of those check plays. If he think somebody is going to be in the way, or that play is not a good play for him right now, check.
Right. So here's another thing. Remember when you said that? Was it in high school? Yeah, in high school.
You're going to get me in trouble.
No. But here's one more question. I know you have to go pick up your lovely daughter. I get it, right? Yeah. Is this your daughter right here? Look at that picture.
Yes.
Okay.
But like 6 years ago.
Oh, all right. Well, I got it from your Instagram. Sorry. But remember the time you said that there was one play you weren't, was it basketball? What'd you say in the beginning, that the last 2 minutes, 2 seconds or something like that?
Basketball.
Right. Now let's go to football. The 91 Super Bowl, you guys against the Buffalo Bills, right?
Yes.
It's the last play. Before the last play, we all know Norwood has to kick a 47-yarder or 43-yarder. I don't know what it is, right? How come Bill Belichick took you out of that last play? How come you weren't on the line? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that was a very ugly moment for me. That it's very ugly, and I'm glad I replied the way that I did reply, because
well, what did he tell you exactly? What did he tell you, Pep? What did he tell you exactly?
He didn't tell me anything. He just sent Johnny out there, Johnny Cooks out there, and brought me out thinking I was tired. And I was like, I don't know why you thinking anybody thought I was tired. I'd never been tired in a freaking game. And sure enough, they ran the ball over to the side that I would have been playing, and I'm over there. I'm so mad. I'm so hurt, but I can't.
Because you want to be part of it.
Right thing.
Right, you want to be part of it.
Stayed away from Bill.
Right, you want to be part of it. You want to block that kick. You want to be that hero.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it still was 2 plays. It still was two plays that they ran. The field goal block that's a whole nother story. Like I wasn't on the field goal team, and I wasn't like LT. LT, he wasn't on the field goal block team, but he just tapped somebody on the shoulder and sent them out. And he was out there. I think if I'd have did that to somebody, they probably would have pushed me in the face. But but I stayed on the sideline. Everybody was thinking that I was praying that he missed the field goal. But I was praying that he missed the field goal, because if he makes it, I'm going to choke Bill Belichick on national TV, and I'm going to go from stump and grind to in Super Bowl 21 to choking the defensive coordinator in Super Bowl 25.
Was your heart pounding like faster than a Ferrari that moment?
No, and that's the crazy thing about it, is that I was, it was mixed emotions. I was like, don't be selfish, Pep, that that he took you out. It's still the game. It's still, the game. We need this dude to miss the field goal. So yes, I did, asked the Lord to go
But
for
you
him
know,
to miss the field
it's your
goal.
7th year as a Giant. You're well established. You would expect to be there. I mean, on the
Yeah,
field in that play, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's just
exactly. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't really to block the field goal. I'm fine and dandy. I think the guys that was out there, meant to be out there, knew the block angle and all that stuff was good. It's the two defensive plays before when he took me out. That was what was hurting
oh,
on my heart.
okay.
And I think when I came to grips that Pep don't be selfish. Johnny he's an older veteran. It's good for him to at least say he's seen the field in the freaking Super Bowl. Even though I was mad because it got closer. See, they never ran the ball to my side when I was out there, but now they go to run the ball to my side around the defensive left end when I'm not on the field, and I'm sick to my freaking stomach if they would, if they got close enough. But they
Well,
didn't,
listen.
and like you said, if was a fifth, we all would be high.
And
So,
what time did you get home after you guys won the Super Bowl? Did you guys party all night?
oh, well, see that's the mixed impression that uh, if you're out there, 9 times out of 10, you out there with your family and some of your friends and stuff. So you don't really get the party then. Like I was the last person to leave the locker room after the game. I did so many freaking interviews and talking to so many people, and somebody else would come up after that person and this, that, and other. When I walked out of there, my family was like, they didn't think I ever was going to leave, and so now it's enjoying them. And you're so tired, now from the game, exhausted from the game and everything afterwards, and so I can't say I partied then,
What about
but
when you came back to New York?
I'm still partying.
Listen,
It hasn't
I
stopped.
wish.
You never see that's the good thing about the Super Bowl. They can never take that away from you. That's what
Yep.
Parcells always said. They can never take that away from you. It's not like a boxing and you're the champ for a while and then someone can take the belt away from you. No, no, no. That you won the Super Bowl.
Last team standing,
It's a
baby.
wrap. Go
Last
on.
team standing. Yeah. I could
Yeah,
imagine the Buffalo
exactly.
Bills 4 years in a row, not the last team standing. That
Yeah.
sucks, man.
The last team get knocked down.
Right. Well, listen, I know you got to go and all that stuff. God, I wish I
Yeah.
could talk to you more about the coaching with Parcells and Belichick. We'll probably do that next time. But is there anything that you're pushing right now? Are you promoting anything? What are you doing now? Anything?
Breezy Point Energy. That's my big thing now that I'm with Breezy Point, and I'm
What's the
a board
patch
in
right
there.
there? The
Oh, that's our
patch.
patches.
Right.
That's the patches. USA Natural Patches. It's oxygen. It's it's
Okay.
it's um, it's oxygen for you. It's really it's vitamin B1 that it's all natural, and instead of for a lot of people that can't or don't like to take pills and take shots and all that stuff like that. It's a adhesive band-aid the patch that you put on, and the more you move, the more active you are in the day. Um, it gets into the bloodstreams, and really, it's just add oxygen to your day. So you have some people, you go around college campuses and you see it at night. That's because those people are drinking and they don't want a hangover the
You
next
know what I'm
day.
gonna do? I'm gonna be like this. Ah, if I see it, pepper. Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I know where that's
exactly.
from.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
listen. I know you got to go, but look, hang on a little bit. Hold on. Let me just end it. Hold on. Let me finish it. Yep, that's Pepper Johnson. You read his bio. I mean, you heard his biography. There's a lot more, but hey, we got a lot of it. All right, hold on.
Hello, hello. This is Pepper Johnson, 5-time Super Bowl champion, and I am here to get you guys to subscribe to Eddie Mata's show. or I'm coming to get you.